It's already been a really productive day. As you just watched, I just got this little brick raised bed area planted, and I'm loving the way it looks. And I do want to talk about all of the plants in this area and kind of the thought process behind the design. And then I've got a few more containers over there by the tool shed that I thought I would get planted up while we're kind of working in this area. So I do want to go over those as well, but let's talk about these plants first. So last year, let me just talk about last year, because we decided last minute to plant this area up. Before, it was kind of a mishmash rock garden. There was no irrigation. There was some native cactus and lavender and things like that. It just looked kind of scrubby to me, and this is right in our entryway. So I really wanted it to be something a little bit more spectacular and full of color. So when I chose my plants last year, it was so last minute that I had to just kind of go with what I could get my hands on like the most of, because an area this size does take quite a number of plants. So we ended up with Vertigo Pentas in the center, which was glorious, and that kind of inspired my usage of it in our front estate planters we just planted up. It got enormous. I mean, just huge and beautiful. The next layer down, I used Mystic Illusion dahlias, which are a dark leaved yellow, bright yellow dahlia. And had I planned beforehand what plants I was going to use, I probably wouldn't have used those two together, just because the foliage color was so similar that there wasn't a lot of contrast. It's still, they all grew well together, and so I was thankful that I had some color here and something different than just scrubbiness that was here before. But I did mix some Vermillionaire Kufia in with the dahlias, and that's kind of a red tube-shaped flower that attracts hummingbirds. The whole area attract pollinators like crazy. And the dahlias and the Vermillionaire seemed to pair fairly well together. The dahlias were a little more vigorous, and you could see like the random spray of Vermillionaire here and there. And then around the base, I had planted Supertunia Bordeaux, which I learned something about our irrigation. Since it was the first year of planting this area, we had run two drip line tubes through this bottom layer, because we've got the bottom layer and then this top layer, and it was too much water. And so eventually the Bordeaux kind of fizzled out because it was, one, getting too much water, and then this side of the bed actually gets a little bit more shade than I thought it does, because we have a tree right above me here on my right. But in the end, it was a fun experience. I really enjoyed planting all of those things together, and I learned from it. And I think we do that every year. We learn something new about our gardens and what we could do better or differently, and so on. So I think that this is going to be a glorious blend of plants. We've got 3 king tuts up here that grow enormous. We grew them in the flower bed parallel our barn 2 years ago, and they got like between 7 and 8 feet tall. I mean, they were just huge and huge around. So I think it's going to be just a massive display. I'm going to have to watch them though, because this area does get quite a bit of wind. So if I notice them being kind of bothered by that at all, I will come in with some stakes and make sure that they're supported properly. But I did notice by the barn they were pretty strong, so I'm hopeful that they'll do really well here. Next layer down is Playin the Blue Salvia, which is probably one of my favorite annuals at this point. I grew it last year in an area just kind of en masse, and I enjoyed it so much because the foliage, it almost looks kind of velvety. Like it's a velvety, kind of a soft, soothing green, and it has a shininess to it, and I just really love that. Plus, of course, the flowers are beautiful and they attract pollinators, and these get quite large. I mean, they'll get, boy, I can't remember what I wish I would have saved a tag out here. We'll probably throw it up on the screen, but I think like between 28, 34, somewhere around inches tall, and then they kind of like bulk up a little bit. So I've got them around the king tuts on this top layer to kind of form my next step down from the grass. And then coming down from that, we have the Diamond Mountain Euphorbia, which is I think it was new maybe last year, but it grows pretty good size, like I think 28, 30 inches tall. I might be wrong on all these sizes, but we'll put them on the screen just in case. But it's unlike the Diamond Frost, which you might be familiar with, in that it grows really like large and more dense. Diamond Frost is more of kind of an accent plant that mingles really nicely with other plants. This is kind of more of a standalone, as I understand it. So this will be a very fun experiment. Plus, I think it'll be another great step down from the Salvia. And then one step down from that, we have lemon coral all the way around this whole bed. And lemon coral is such a versatile plant. I thought it would work really well for this spot because, you know, this side gets a lot more sun, this side gets a little more shade, but it seems to do well no matter where I put it. We also did remove one of our drip lines throughout this whole bed, so we just have one drip line. Well, in fact, you can see it right here. Didn't do a great job with my mulch. So there's one drip line that runs through this whole bed because both the Diamond Mountain and the lemon coral can handle slight drought conditions. So if you have tough areas where you just like it's hard for you to get water to that area on a really consistent basis, but you want some color, some annual color, these are really great choices for that. And then I was able to run quite a few rings of drip on the top because both the King Tut likes quite a bit of water. Playin the Blue Salvias is just average. It likes consistent moisture, but I did notice last year that it would dry down if I skipped it for too long. So I think we've got the irrigation worked out in this area. I think it's going to be really, really beautiful. We did add a layer of mulch just to cover all the drip tubes in here. So anyway, I'm really excited about it. I think the colors are gorgeous. I think they're going to do like a perfect stair step in kind of block colors, and I'm really looking forward to giving you guys updates. So the other pots I want to do in this area, I kind of am going like from large to medium to small. I want to plant up this galvanized tub that I picked up at an antique store for $50 last year for this huge galvanized tub. We drilled, I think, 4 or 6 drain holes in the bottom, and I'm going to put some Prince Tuts toward the back. I'm going to do this with the centerpiece toward the back and kind of come forward. That will form like a 30 to 48 inch backdrop right here. And then I've got this Sunstar, it's a Pentas called Sunstar Pink right here. This is going to be a new one next year. They grow about 18 to 22 inches tall, so I think it's going to be a wonderful stair step down. Now, I've never grown this one before, and I was able to get my hands on a few of them to try them out this year, but they're supposedly excellent, great in the heat. So I'm really looking forward to trying this. Plus, I think it blends beautifully with all the rest of these plants. We've got Angelface Cascade Blue, which Aaron just planted in one of his containers along our fence line. And so I thought it would be fun to use it in here. It doesn't grow like, I think it grows about 6 to 10 inches tall, and then it starts kind of cascading over like this. And I'm hoping it intermingles with this Bordeaux, which Supertunia Bordeaux here, which is a classic. It's one of my faves in the Supertunia line. I love the color of it, but I think that these two together really are really pretty. And then we've got a Sweet Caroline light green potato vine for my foliage accent. So that's this container. And then we're going to move on down to this one with my juniper topiary, and we're going to put Supertunia Royal Magenta and Supertunia Bordeaux in this one. The reason I'm doing these two is because I wanted to kind of have them tie together. So this one has Bordeaux. The Royal Magenta we actually have in a beautiful hanging basket right here, along with Supertunia Mulberry Charm. So I thought it'd be pretty to kind of tie the colors together so it, you know, there wasn't like too much going on. I mean, it's going to be a lot of color going on, but at least it'll blend really nicely together. And then over here, the last container is a window box. Now this one gets brutal sun in the afternoon. We have a beautiful overcast day today, so it doesn't look very sunny. But Superbells do the best in containers or hanging baskets because they like to actually dry a little bit. They like the soil to dry a tad between waterings. And they like really good drainage. So this cocoa fiber allows that. So I think that these will do really great. We've got Superbells Tropical Sunrise. Look at the striping in that. I think it's just the most gorgeous flower. And then this is an exciting one. This is a Superbells Double Blue. This is another one that's going to be new next year that I'm able to trial this year. So I'll be able to give you guys updates on how it's doing. But I think the two of them together are really pretty. And I think that they go well with the tool, the tool shed, which we may be painting white here very soon to match the chicken coop. But I think these colors will still be beautiful with that. So anyway, what I want to do is probably start with the galvanized container. I need to remove last year's soil and get fresh soil in, and then we can plant. I think they all look really pretty. I did decide to plant a lemon coral sedum in the center of this container, and it will fill in and go through the topiary form and kind of over the sides. And I thought it'd be a perfect choice because I still want to see this cute little form here. And then the window basket right here, I think turned out really pretty. I love the combination of colors. I do not have this one set up on drip yet. So I think I'm gonna have to bring a line along the base of the tool shed and maybe right up alongside here. And then I'll pop over right there, and I'll use part of the Waterwise tubing because it's white, so I think it will blend in with the shed. And Waterwise is a drip system kit that we will link down below if you are interested. All of these containers right here are set up on drip, so I don't ever have to touch them other than fertilizing on a weekly basis. So we've got our Royal Magenta. There are 3 in here, 3 Supertunia Bordeaux. The juniper, even though these are really tough native drought tolerant trees, they seem to hold up really well in containers for us here in terms of like they're able to handle the amount of water I need to give the Supertunias, and they thrive, which is awesome. I've got a Euphorbia here and some mint, just in case you are wondering. This is called the Galaxy Glow Euphorbia, and this is Swiss Ricola mint. And then this container is gorgeous. I love the blend of color. I love that soft pink and that Pentas right there. Really looking forward to see that one grow. I like the foliage on it as well. I was kind of looking at it more as I was planting, and I think it's really pretty. It's like kind of a stiffer leaf, and it's just got a really pretty design in it where all the veins are. But we'll have our Prince Tut background and then all this beautiful color spilling forward. And then of course I've got my pot of strawberries. We will probably be adding to the mix. Some of you guys know how it goes. As the season progresses, we add more as we see plants that we love and we can't leave the garden center without. So anyway, that is my little brick patio transformation this morning. I hope that you enjoyed seeing all of these areas be planted. And I also hope that maybe by seeing like a large project and then all the way down to a pot with a single plant was maybe helpful for you guys to see different sizes and different shapes of containers be planted up, and I'm hoping it gave you guys some ideas and inspiration. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.